Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're going to talk a little defense, which we don't usually do. We talk a little bit about it on our waiver wire show every week, but as we're getting past the halfway point, you're going down the stretch in a way, trying to get a playoff run. A lot of people have been streaming defenses this year. And actually, there hasn't been a lot of dominant defenses this year. You're not getting like these. A couple years ago, you had the Patriots. Jeff, you used the Patriots to a title. Like, there's been some of these dominant defenses before. This year, we don't really have that necessarily. So we're piecing together a lot of matchups and trying to do that. So we're just going to go quick today and talk about some of these matchups. We're going to go 60%. I'm going to go 60% under defenses because 60% sometimes you can find these. So but we're going to give a couple options for the next like weeks 9 through 16. I'm just going to throw some out there, some matchups. So if you want to start, especially at this point, we're getting past, okay, week 7 was a big bye week. 8, 9, there's a lot of buys too. After this week, a lot of buys are done. I mean, there's still more coming, but you might have bench spots now. Maybe you can stack up a couple defenses, honestly, and, plan. So let's talk about some of them here, Jeff. Out of the 60% unders, I do actually think there's one defense that stands out to me as the one you'd like to get, and then you don't have to fill in as many spots. It's not every week. None of these are every week defenses at 60% under. But the Cowboys, to me, are the top 60% under defense because of their matchups. First of all, they seem to force turnovers anyway, which is great for fantasy. But here's their schedule starting this week, going through 16. They have Denver. Denver doesn't put up points, right? Doesn't happen. Next week, they get Atlanta without Calvin Ridley. Without that offense, can't do much these days, I don't think. I'm not scared of that offense. It's possible they can put up points, right? But I'm not scared of them. So you got Denver, you got Atlanta. You got 2 weeks there. 11, you go to Kansas City. You're not going to play that matchup. I don't. You're just still not. You're still not. I mean, I guess it's not as scary as it used to be, but you still don't want to do it. Then they got the Raiders. That could go either way, but you'll probably look elsewhere that week. Then they got the Saints. We don't know yet. As of now, you probably say no, but maybe that's a good play. It very well could be. Then they go 14, 15, 16 at Washington, at the Giants, then Washington again. Great ending schedule there. So worst case, out of the next 8 weeks, you got 5 weeks, you're just plugging them in right away, right? And possibly, Raiders, you're probably not going to be scared off of it, are you?
No.
And the Saints, you're probably not scared off of it. So you really probably have 7 of 8 weeks. So you're probably like, yeah, I'm just going to roll with them.
Yeah, you could literally use them the entire time. KC, you don't want to do, even though they haven't been playing nearly as well. But if you really wanted to, you could probably just let it run.
Well, and so you got that, Matt. Even if you didn't, if you don't go with KC, and let's say you don't even want to go those 2 weeks in between, those 12 and 13. Another defense you could pair with them, which hasn't been as good, but it's all matchup based, right, is the Eagles. Not a great defense, but weeks 12 and 13, they play the Giants and they play the Jets. So if you don't feel comfortable playing the Cowboys those 2 weeks, you go throw the Giants, you go get the Eagles going against the Giants and the Jets. You probably feel a lot better about that. That's not a bad matchup. If you don't want to play the Cowboys week 11 against Kansas City, there's a couple options. You could go get Cleveland as your second defense. They play the Detroit Lions that week. So there you go. You get the Cowboys, go get Cleveland, stash them on your bench. They play Cincinnati. Cleveland plays Cincinnati next week and then New England. Not a lot of people are going to be maybe looking to get them against Cincinnati this week. So go get Cleveland, play Cowboys, play Cleveland week 11. Then you can roll with Cowboys 12 and 13. But if you don't want to, go get the Eagles and play them against the Giants and Jets. And right there, boom, you have a 3 defense schedule right there that you're set. I think that's pretty solid. That would be my best scenario to figure it out, right? But let's just, I don't know. That seemed to me like that could work out pretty well for you. And I think you're pretty set. So,
yeah. And I think the interesting part now is most of us are battling it out where maybe we don't have the luxury of going outside and figuring out what defense we want of playoff weeks, right? We're just grabbing guys for bye weeks and so forth. If you are one of the teams that you're rolling right now and you are very, very set as far as like your starters go, you have a few spots that you don't have to, going out early when these teams get dropped for bye weeks and then holding on to them is a great idea.
Yep.
I mean, you can do this for a few different positions, but I think defense and kicker, especially if you're streaming those 2 positions, that is what you want to do. So I have no issue, especially if you're winning already, if you want to grab and hold on to 3 different defenses.
I think you could easily do this. I think you can have 3 defenses, no problem at this point of the season. Here's another one you could do with the Cowboys. So let's say, again, you don't want to play 11 against the Chiefs. So let's just throw out 12 and 13, right? We have better matchups. So you get the Cowboys for 9 and 10. A week 11, like I said, you pick up Cleveland. So you pick them up now. You get Detroit that week. 12 and 13, Raiders, Saints, you still don't want to go against it. Okay. You pick up the Bears, who are playing the Lions in week 12. Go pick up the Vikings, who are playing the Lions in week 13. So play the Cowboys and then whoever's playing against the Lions. To me, that's a winning defensive schedule right there. And the beauty of that is you don't have to go pick up the Vikings yet as that defense in week 13. You can keep them on your radar. But the reason you don't have to pick them up yet is they play Baltimore, then they play the Chargers, then they play Green Bay. No one is picking them up those weeks. You're not playing against those weeks. Vikings are going to sit there out in the waivers, pick them up around week 12 for that week 13 matchup. Or, that's how you could play that. You can pick them up week 12 when you drop Cleveland and you never have more than 3. That's, to me, a way to go about this. But again, the Cowboys might not be available, right?
Right.
So that, to me, is the easiest way around it. There are some other teams that have decent schedules that you can try to piece together more. The Colts, next 2 weeks, play the Jets and then Jacksonville. Pretty solid. But then they play Buffalo and then the Bucks. So you're not playing them then. Then they play Houston, week 13. So great, another time you can use them. Then you're not using them because they have a bye. They play New England. You could, but who knows? Then they play Arizona. But you're probably done with them after week 13, right?
Yeah.
So you got Colts for weeks 9, 10. You don't have them for weeks 11 and 12. So again, maybe you can go get Cleveland playing against Detroit, and then you go get Bears playing against Detroit. And then week 13, you get the Colts. You at least have 3 defenses through week 13. And then you might have to go look elsewhere. Maybe then you go week 13, then there's not as many, I guess. The Saints are there with the Jets, but they could be gone by then. But the Saints play 2 weeks before that, they play Buffalo and Dallas. They could easily be dropped as well. And then you pick up the Saints.
And even right now, right now, because of the bye, they were still available in 45% of leagues. So it's very possible. And
the Saints are the other one for me.
Yeah,
that very could be out there. They're playing
at the end of the year.
They're playing Atlanta right now. I'm good with that. Then they play Tennessee next week.
We don't know if they have it together quite yet.
We don't know what Tennessee's going to be. Then they play at Philadelphia. I'm not scared of Philly.
No.
So the Saints, they've been very good. There's 3 weeks right there. Then you're at 12 and 13.
Yeah, Buffalo, Dallas.
Yep, you're not playing them then. But then again, you go to that Bears-Vikings. You go to the Bears-Vikings against the Lions.
And that's the wonderful.
Then they get the Jets in 14.
Exactly. 14 and 16, they get Miami.
And then Miami. So week 15, you find another defense, which could be the Dolphins, which isn't great, but it could be the Dolphins playing the Jets. It could be Eagles playing against Washington. But that's only 1 week you got to figure out, and that's if you're in the playoffs. So
right. That's
the one. Saints, to me, Cowboys are my favorite option. Saints are my second favorite option. But just look at the Bears-Vikings 12-13 against the Lions. Those are defenses that aren't just going to be picked up right now. Bears play Steelers this week. It's probably fine, but not a lot of people are rolling with that. Then they have a bye, then they have Baltimore. The Bears are going to be available. But if you want to do that, you have to pick them up the week they have the bad matchup, the 1 week before. Don't wait till after that, because all of a sudden then they become, oh, wait, they're playing the Lions.
Right.
I'm going to pick them up. You have to pick them up the week early. Every time.
And that is why it's so great to have extra bench spots when you're winning.
Yep.
Figure out who you're actually going to use, who you're not going to, and then stack yourself so you're ready for the playoff run. Because you're right, you have to grab them ahead of time. Mm-hmm. First of all, you save usually on the fab budget.
Yep.
And second of all, you don't have to worry about it. So grab them early, and that's why you know who you're going after, and then as they become available, just pick them up.
Yep. Those Cowboys, Saints, Colts. Those are the best options than to pair those other teams with. Then maybe you can't get those guys, right? Let's see who else is out there. Okay, now the Panthers aren't like your favorite team in the world, but they're okay. They're an okay defense. They can stop some people. They play New England this week, which if you have to go with that,
that's okay.
Yeah, you're fine. They play Arizona next week. You're not playing them. But then they play Washington and Miami. They have a bye, play Atlanta. That's not bad either. In week 13, obviously, you pair them with the Vikings playing against the Lions. So you have to figure out week 10, which could be, depending on who's out there, could be the Ravens playing against the Dolphins. Could be the Eagles playing against Denver.
Well, yeah, Carolina could get you there. I mean, their playoff schedule is rough, though.
Yeah, after 14, you're done. They're Buffalo, Tampa. You're not playing about that. Then you go, again, Eagles. Eagles is going to be a lesser-known option, playing Washington and the Giants. The Eagles haven't been that great, right? But this is their schedule. Chargers this week, you're not doing it. Then they play Denver. They play the Saints, which, again, don't know what that is yet. Giants, Jets. They have a bye. Washington, Giants. That is a sneaky play right there.
Yeah.
The Eagles are sneaky as a team that just has a great schedule. So if you miss out on Cowboys, Saints, or Colts, whatever, Eagles are probably a pretty solid option right there. And then
they are. Yeah.
And then maybe you pair them with the Panthers and play the Panthers against Atlanta in week 14, And then, you know what? That's the thing you could do. You could pair the Eagles with the Panthers. That's like further down if there's all these other better defenses are gone. Eagles, in the weeks you don't want to play them, maybe you don't want to play them 11 against the Saints, you go play the Panthers against Washington. Week 14, when the Eagles have the bye, you play the Panthers against Atlanta. And that's again, Saints, Cowboys, Colts, they're all gone. There's not as many options. That's an option right there for you that you just play good matchups the whole time.
Yeah.
Or put the Bears and the Vikings in there against the Lions. Done.
Yeah.
Or Cleveland in week 11 against the Lions. Those are the plays. I mean, Lions have been bad. They're not going to, I feel like it's just going to fall apart more.
Yeah, you're not going to do better.
Yep.
So I'd be fine with that too. If you want to keep streaming one defense or whatever and just grab a couple of defenses that are going to play the Lions in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd be totally fine with that.
That's kind of how you're going to let me see what the actual Lions schedule is here for the playoffs. If they're probably defenses that are already owned. They're not showing up on my little list here, so I'm guessing they were higher than 60%. Let's see. They have the Bears. They have the Bears in 12, Vikings in 13, the Broncos in 14. They have the Cardinals in week 15. The Cardinals are probably owned. Falcons in week 16. So that's, again, Falcons aren't a defense you like to play, but if that's where you're going and you're in the playoffs and there's no other options, the Falcons week 16 playing against the Lions, that could be your option, right? That's where you could go with it. But the Broncos, we'll see what happens with the Broncos. They're probably owned in most leagues, but with Von Miller getting traded, you never know. They could play a little worse for the next couple weeks, but then they're available against the Lions too.
And, well, here's the interesting one too, because like those teams, like Denver, right?
Yep.
The Broncos have a bye in week 11.
So that's when
a lot of teams will
get dropped, right?
Yeah. So that's when you can pick them up. Pretty much pick them up. Well, the problem is they have a bye and then people
that's
try
the
to
thing.
pick them up.
No,
right
they
away,
could easily get dropped because they have a bye. Then they play the Chargers and Chiefs. The Broncos are going to get dropped, and then you pick them up to play that Lions in week 14. 100%. That's the easy way to go.
Yeah.
You could really roll with this playing against the Lions thing for 12 or for 11, 12, 13, 14 with go Browns, you go Bears, you go Vikings, you go Broncos. You don't have to own them all at once. You get them a week ahead.
Right. And I'm not saying people will do this because a lot of people will have multiple defenses.
Yeah.
But like even the Cardinals have their bye in week 12. Same difference. Yeah. Bills, they've already had their bye. Patriots, their bye is week 14. And they play, they don't have a great one actually. They're not, I don't know, if you play into week 17, they play Jacksonville. But yeah, they don't have a great matchup.
Yep.
But anyway, that is what we would go out of our way to do.
Yep. For sure. Let's see who plays the Texans here. So some of these defenses will probably own. They play the Titans. The Jets. You're still not going to play the Jets against the Texans, are you? If you really, really, really need something week 12, you can play the Jets against the Texans.
And actually,
Seattle in week 14 could play the Texans. No, they play teams that you could get the defense, but like Jacksonville week 15, like you still don't feel great with it.
And actually, the Buccaneers, they're going into their bye right now, so it'll be interesting to see how many people drop them.
Yeah,
but they do have an interesting schedule, and they've been obviously a good defense. But you hit Washington, then the Giants, Indianapolis, Atlanta. So 3 out of the 4 are good. Mm-hmm. And then week 16, you're at Carolina, which is a good matchup as well. So once again, just kind of wait for these guys to become available. But the ones that we talked about right now, obviously, the Saints and the Colts.
And the Cowboys. Cowboys have, I think, the best of the matchups. I think the Cowboys, you pair it with a week 12 Bears against the Lions, a week 13 Vikings against the Lions. I think that's great. And you just have to that's the schedule. It's the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Browns in 11 against the Lions. Bears in 12 against the Lions. Vikings in 13 against the Lions. You go back to the Cowboys for the Washington Giants stretch. to end the year.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it.
Yep. Okay, if the Cowboys are not available in your league, just watch and see if they get dropped when they play the Chiefs in Week 11. If they do, go snatch them up right away because that end of the year schedule is awesome.
Yeah.
So there we go.
It's crazy good. Yep. I can't believe it.
So I just want to put it on people's radars. Just start thinking if you've been streaming defense and you're not locked and loaded with like the Rams and these other defenses up at the top, Rams, Bucks, Bills, the ones who've been pretty good this year. That's it. There's not a lot of those defenses out there. If you have one of those, roll with them. But even then, watch the matchups. Watch the matchups.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Rams have been very good, but at the same time, I mean, they don't have Week 14, you play Arizona. 15 is Seattle. Will Russell Wilson be back? Then you have 16 Minnesota, 17 Baltimore.
I don't think there's any complete matchup-proof defenses out there. So
there's not.
If you're pretty set right now in your run to the playoffs, or you just need to have a good run to the playoffs, just start. If you're already set for the playoffs, and this early, but this happens. Then you look at 15 and 16. Start looking at there. And if you're not, this is something to look at.
Once again, the other thing I will say, the last closing argument is if you are making a trade, which a lot of people do, especially if you're buying a player or you're giving a keeper for a big time running back, and they have a defense that has a good one, ask for it as a toss-in. Those teams do not care anymore.
They don't care. Yeah, exactly. Do that. But all right, just put it on your radar. Start looking at these matchups. Start planning ahead. It's much more expensive, especially if you're in a fab league, to get them the week that they have the good matchup. Get them the week before the good matchup. So start planning ahead because you're going to start running out. You're not going to need those bench spots anymore. So do it with useful stuff. But all right, that will do it for today. We'll be back late Sunday night, talk about Week 9 in the NFL. Talk to you guys then.